Why is sound so important to a medium based on visual presentation? I mean, silent movies with just music were very prevalent before voice and sound effects were introduced in the industry, so why do those feel so essential to our movie-going experience nowadays? I think it's because sound immerses us into the world of a film. It allows us to accept whatever cinematic world we see as the world we're in, for 2 hours at least. But if that's the case, why do we still hold the score as such a precious part of the movie? That music should take us out of the world of the film, right? Well, maybe not. Because we're obviously not living in the world of the movie, so the score helps us feel the emotions that the characters of the world feel. We triumph with them through the score, and we feel helpless or scared with them through the score. Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk in particular uses movie score and overall sound design to create a raw sense of presence for the viewer. In 2018, the film won 2 Oscars for its sound editing and sound mixing. Regarding sound editing, Dunkirk supervising sound editor Richard King summarized the vision of the film's sound, get it, when he said, "The goal was to make it exciting, to make it visceral and immediate for the audience. We wanted to put the audience on the beach, on the small boats in the channel, and inside the Spitfires. We wanted the experience to sound like it would for the men on the beach and for the people who were involved." And in that regard, I feel that the goal was accomplished. Listening to those British Spitfires, or the rumbling of the ships, or the pounding of the German bombs, really put me on the edge of my seat and fearing for my cinematic life when I first watched the film. And great pains were made to create those sounds. For instance, King described his process of recording the siren sound of the German planes as they dove down to fire upon Allied soldiers. This involved replicating a type of siren attached to German planes at the time, going out into the desert and recording the live sound, which echoed off hills and the landscapes, and then further editing in post-production. Another example is the gun sounds in the movie. King stated that these effects were a combination of German machine guns, the narrow cobblestone street, and the production gun. The street added to the crack and the abrasive sound of the guns since there was no sound absorption. So that's all really amazing, but what about the sound mixing? Now I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched the movie, I could barely understand what the characters were saying. Now, was that just me? I mean, my family definitely couldn't hear them either. So maybe it was just the theater that messed up or played the movie wrong. But then I started digging deeper, and I read many online comments and complaints about the dialogue mixing of the movie. Even more so, a particular IndieWire article talks of various complaints that the effects and the music were excessively loud compared to the dialogue. A cited Reddit post starts with, "PSA, a warning about Dunkirk." And the post continues by saying, "It might be the loudest movie I've ever seen. I don't mean like a gunshot here or an explosion there. I mean sustained loud noises for minutes at a time. For large sections of the movie, the soundtrack and the effects merge in this cacophony of noise, and it becomes difficult to differentiate between any of the sounds." Wow. Let's take a look at the scene from Dunkirk.
French have been forced back on the western side.
They're still holding a perimeter.
For now.
Every hour the enemy pushes closer. They've activated the small vessels pool.
Small vessels.
It's the list of civilian boats for requisition. Oh, you're right. They won't get up in this. The Royal Engineers are building piers from lorries. At least that should help us when the tide comes back.
Could you make out the dialogue? Now let's see the scene from Interstellar.
Well, this little maneuver is gonna cost us 51 years!
You don't sound so bad for pushing 120!
Could you figure out the dialogue then? Now obviously this is a subjective thing, but if so many people have voiced complaints about both Dunkirk and some about Interstellar, there must be something going on, right? Now Nolan has admitted that his idea of sound mixing is off the beaten path and might throw some people off. In response to similar criticisms of the mixing of Interstellar, Nolan said that he sometimes used dialogue itself as a sound effect, so it was mixed with the music and not as standing out above it. This in turn helps emphasize how loud the surrounding environment is. Now here's Hans Zimmer, the music score composer for both Dunkirk and Interstellar, and he talks about the complaints about the mixing of Interstellar.
It's a very particular style. I mean, there's nothing random in it. We made the movie that we wanted to make. And the controversy, if you want to call it that, is, yes, there will always be, if you're provocative in a certain way, these days people will take to the internet. And what you read is, and weirdly, it seems to be the people who have to take issue with something that are going to be the most vocal. And at the same time, the polarization is that I feel and hear and see just as many people going, I didn't have a problem. Actually, I quite liked it.
Nolan has also stated that he believes clarity in film can be achieved through many ways, using sound in an impressionistic way and not just relying on dialogue. He wants his films to be experiential in both visuals and sound. Now that means feeling doomed, trapped, and surrounded via the sound, and via the intentional loudness of the other effects and music over the dialogue. Well, I guess I'll just have to use subtitles sometimes.